Hi, thank you for joining me in today's Bible stories. In Exodus chapter 1 and 2, we find the circumstances surrounding the birth of Moses. He was born at a time where the Hebrews lived in Egypt, greatly oppressed by the Egyptians. And it only got worse and worse. And then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, made a law that every baby boy born to the Hebrews should be killed. It was around this time that Moses was born. His parents tried to protect him and they hid him. But when he was about 3 months old, they discovered they couldn't hide him any longer. And so they put him in a basket, made it as watertight as possible, and put it by the reeds by the river. His big sister, a little girl, hid also there, watching out to see what would happen to her baby brother. And they were hoping somehow he would be rescued. Well, somebody finds him. Not just anybody, but Pharaoh's daughter, the princess. She finds this baby boy crying in the basket on the river. She knows right away this must be a Hebrew baby, for who else would put such a handsome baby in a basket on the river? Suddenly out jumps from the grass a little girl and asks this princess, "Can I find you someone to take care of the baby? I know someone." Amused, the princess says, "Yes, go ahead." And so Moses' sister runs home, gets their mom, and they come back to the princess. And the princess hands over the baby to the woman who is actually Moses' mother and says, "Take care of him, breastfeed him. When you wean him, bring him to the palace. He's mine." And so Moses' mother takes him back home. Now she can nurture him, take care of him in broad daylight without trying to hide, because there's a royal protection over Moses' life. No one can kill him, no one can hurt him. And everybody must be wondering, what is it about this baby boy that he's exempted from the oppression? And even the king's daughter is protecting him. When he's old enough, his mother takes him to the palace as they had agreed on, and he grows up in the palace. The Hebrews know, at least those that saw him when he was a baby, the Egyptians know that he is originally Hebrew, and he knows that he's originally Hebrew. His name gives him out. It means brought up, brought out, rescued from the river. And he grows up to be a brilliant young man. The Bible says in Acts 7:22 that he was educated in all the wisdom of Egypt, a man mighty in word and in deed. And Pharaoh and his daughter, the princess, must have thought, oh, this was a good choice, rescuing this one. He's so brilliant, handsome. Oh, it's good we saved this one. And they're also probably thinking that with all the exemption from evil, from oppression, with all the privileges he's had growing up in the palace, so like a royal, he must be so grateful that his alliance and loyalty will be to Egypt. Something is going on in Moses' mind. He knows he's Hebrew by birth, Egyptian by upbringing, royal by placement in the privilege of the palace. But he's wondering, who am I? Who am I? Deep in my heart, where does my alliance belong? No matter what people think about him, what he thinks and decides about his own identity is the most important, because that is what is going to determine his decisions and the trajectory of his life. It's the same for every one of us. No matter what people say, situations and circumstances say around us, about us, what we say about ourselves is the most important. because it is what determines our decisions, the trajectory of our life. It determines even more than we are aware of. In Matthew chapter 4, Jesus is fasting 40 days and 40 nights. And the devil comes to him to tempt him. He's very cunning. And his temptation are in several layers. But it starts with the words, if you are the Son of God. The word if there is questioning the identity of Jesus. Just a few verses earlier in Matthew 3:17, the heavens have opened and a voice has come, God speaking and saying, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Jesus had just been baptized, and as he comes out of the water, this voice comes. John the Baptist hears the voice. Jesus hears the words. The people standing around hear it as well, and the devil hears it. And the devil is thinking, he doesn't know the agenda of this one called the Son of God, but he knows that he needs to try to stop him as quickly as he can, if he can. And he comes to Jesus to tempt him. But the foundation of his temptations is on this same word God has just spoken over him. God said, this is my beloved Son. And the devil comes to ask Jesus, if you are the Son of God, turn the stones to bread. The second temptation, if you are the Son of God, jump from this high pinnacle, and for he has written, he will give his angels charge over you. So the devil's temptations, the foundation of it was trying to get Jesus to defend his identity. But it was tricky, it was cunning. Because if Jesus took that bait, he would have opened up a loophole in his life to the devil. And the devil does the same with us. He throws at us voices that question what God has spoken over us. It's what he did with Jesus. It is what he does with us. Whether they're circumstances, situations, experiences we've passed through, what people think about us, what the surrounding thinks about us, what the culture around us says about us, what our family background says about us, what our race, our tribe, our status, marital, educational, job-wise, whatever it is, there are voices speaking out to us. And those voices, they're trying to contribute to define who we say we are. Whose report will you believe? Our emotions go up and down. They can't be trusted. They're not good enough to be the ones to define who we are. Older than our genealogy, older than our experiences, older than our past, older than our lineage, is what God says about us. We'll look at different things that God says about us as we study Bible stories. But let's go this time to the very beginning in Genesis chapter 1, because that is the foundation of who we are. In Genesis chapter 1, the Bible says, and God said, let us make man in our own image. And in verse 26, it says, and so God created man in his image. In his likeness, he made man, male and female, he made them. So God created us intentionally. He desired us and then designed us and then made us, fashioned after himself. We are the offsprings of God, made in his image, the pinnacle of his creation. It's often said that the value of a thing depends on who made it and how much someone is willing to pay for it. Whether it's a building, a piece of music, a piece of art, or even an item of clothing. Well, the one that made us is God Himself. And not just as any part of His creation, but fashioned after He Himself. And the price He was willing to pay for us was the life of His own Son. So dear, so precious we are to Him. And so I want to ask you, who do you say that you are? What do you say to yourself in the inner dialogue inside of you? Do you define yourself by your experiences, by what people think about you, by what is going on in the society around you? Or do you take your defining point from who made you, how He made you, the price He paid for you, and what He calls you? You are loved. You are precious. It says in Psalm chapter 8, who is man that God, you are so mindful of him? God is mindful of you. And as you take a moment and think about what is going on in your inner dialogue, what do you say to yourself? If you find that the things you say to yourself do not conform to what God says about you, then let them go. It's time to drop them. It's time to reorient yourself back to what God says you are. You are made in the image of God. And if you are a parent, please, as early as possible, start to tell your children their origin in God, so that they have this already within them as the world tries to feed them, tries to define who they are, that they are sure that they are not an accident. They are made by God in the image of God. Thank you for listening. Look forward to sharing another Bible story with you. God bless you. Bye.